Hi, I'm Lucas, 32, and 3 nights before my sister's wedding I got kicked out of it. The same wedding I had already paid $12,430 for. And since they did it on a group text, with my own parents sitting there in silence, I decided I'd let them plan the rest of it without the walking ATM. Spoiler, they couldn't. It was 9:54 p.m. Office dark, everyone gone, and I was finishing a $75,000 bid for a commercial client we really needed. You know that late-night office sound? Just the printer wheezing and your keyboard clacking? That was me. I was the one who stayed late. I was the one who balanced payroll. I was the one who took us from Dad's chaotic 1998 construction company to actual functioning small business with repeat clients. My phone buzzed on the desk. Family wedding crew. Tara, you're out of the wedding planning. Evan thinks it's best. That was it. No. Hey, can we talk? No. Thanks for fronting literally everything. Just. You're out. Like I was some random vendor who overstepped. I stared at it and waited for the obvious follow-up, the LOL kidding, or we just mean we got the DJ already. But nothing came. Mom was in that chat. Dad was in that chat. Neither typed a thing. That silence? That's the part that burned more than the text. So I called home. Mom picked up with that exhausted martyr sigh she wears like perfume. Don't start drama, Lucas. Drama? I said. I just got uninvited from a wedding I paid for. You're making this about money again. That was her favorite line. It translated to, we like when you pay for things, we don't like when you remember you paid for things. From the background I heard Dad. Let them handle it, Lucas. You're too controlling. I actually laughed. I'm controlling? I'm paying. They'll figure it out. You always make things harder than they need to be. I could feel my jaw clench. I'd stayed late for them. I'd covered payroll for them. I'd fixed vendor relationships they almost torched. And now they were just done with me because golden daughter and future son-in-law decided I didn't match their Pinterest aesthetic. I hung up before I said the stuff you can't walk back. The office suddenly felt too quiet. I looked at the framed photo on my shelf. Last year's company barbecue. Everyone smiling. Mom holding a paper plate like she contributed. Dad doing that hands on hips pose. Tara hugging me from the side, saying, I don't know what we'd do without you. Apparently the answer was, uninvite him. I opened my laptop and started pulling receipts. Venue deposit, $5,000, my personal card. Florist, $800, my personal card. Tux Rentals, pushed through the company card under my name because it's easier if you do it, honey. Honeymoon deposit, my card again, because Evan had a temporary limit issue. Yeah, temporary, like his work ethic. I opened my personal spreadsheet. Yeah, I keep one, because growing up in my house, if you didn't write it down, it never happened, and added a line. Tara and Evan wedding, $12,430, unreimbursed. I wasn't mad. I was clear. That's the best word. Like the fog suddenly lifted and I saw the pattern in HD. Because here's the real story. I'm the ops guy for Ward Construction and Design. Dad, Gerald, founded it in the late 90s, which in his version means he bought a truck and promised a lot. Mom, Denise, handles clients, which means lunch, gossip, and complimenting people's kitchens. I built the system. Scheduling, payroll, vendor relationships, bidding, margins, that was me. I made it so we stopped praying on Fridays that the checks cleared. My sister Tara? Full-time lifestyle content creator / influencer / brand collaborations. Meaning, lots of photos of coffees and not a cent for a wedding. Her fiancé Evan? Talks like a TED Talk, pays like a college freshman. Sales, marketing, consulting, whatever's hot that month. No capital. But he was charming and he was hers, so suddenly he's family. And in our family, family means Lucas will pay. When Dad's truck blew its transmission, I paid. When Mom's medical bills came in high, I paid. When Dad said, "Covered payroll for 2 weeks, son, client is slow," I paid. When Tara cried about losing her venue because Evan was waiting for a check, I paid. Every time they said, "We'll pay you back," I wrote it down. And every time nothing came back, I kept the line anyway. Because I knew, one day, I was going to need proof I wasn't crazy. So sitting there in that dark office, watching the cursor blink, I realized something very simple. If they could cut me out of the thing I paid for with a forward text, I could cut them out of the money they didn't pay for with a 4-minute phone call. I messaged Nadia, our bookkeeper, been with us 5 years, actually competent. Back up everything with my name on it. Contracts, invoices, vendor statements. Tonight. She just replied. On it. She's seen enough Ward family weirdness to know when to move fast. While she was backing up, I opened my email and started sorting. I made a folder called Wedding, My Payments. I dragged every deposit confirmation into it. Venue, florist, tux, honeymoon. Then I did the pettiest, cleanest, most rational thing I have ever done. I deleted the family wedding crew chat. Not blocked. Not argued. Just removed it from my life. If I'm out, I'm out. I shut off the office lights and walked to the parking lot. It was cold. You know that late night industrial park cold where it smells like asphalt and old HVAC units. I leaned on my truck and said out loud, to absolutely no one, "They cut me out on text. Okay. They can pay their own bill." Then I drove home with the flash drive in the console and a plan forming. Your turn, family. Next morning, 7:12 a.m., I was in the office with coffee before anyone else, because apparently I like to suffer in quiet rooms. I logged into the company bank portal and did what they never once thought I would do. I looked at everything with the mindset of, this is not my mess to fix. When you stop looking like a son and start looking like an auditor, the whole picture changes. First thing I saw, 2 brand new vendor profiles I didn't create. E.H. Consulting. E.H. Marketing. Evan Hunter. Of course. Man really couldn't even be subtle. No W-9s, no addresses, no long payment history, just invoices appearing in the last 10 days, right after I got booted from the wedding. $1,250 here, $2,100 there. Enough to look legitimate, not enough to set off Dad's "we're broke" alarms. I screenshotted them. Date. Time. Source IP. Saved to flash. Nadia came in around 8:05, saw me already in, and did that slow blink of someone who knows it's going to be a day. You saw the group text? She asked, sitting down. Oh yeah, I said. I also saw Evan paying himself. Her eyebrows went up. I didn't process those. I know. He did it through Dad. She rubbed her forehead. Do I need to start backing up more stuff? You already did, I said. Thank you. I pulled up our company credit cards. Mine, Dad's, Mom's, and now a pending card with Evan's name on it. I canceled it. Not paused. Not limited. Cancelled. Nadia's phone rang immediately. She muted it. Your mom, she mouthed. Let it go to voicemail. While it rang, I opened every wedding vendor agreement I had. The venue, the caterer, the florist, the tux place, the travel agency for the honeymoon, all of them had my name on the contract because Lucas works with computers, it's easier if he just handles it. Cool. If my name's on it, my decision stands. I started with the biggest one. Hi, this is Lucas Ward. I need to cancel booking 45,872 under my name. Yes, Mr. Ward, I see it here. June 21st, ballroom, plated dinner, 120 guests. That's the one. May I ask why? Plans changed. Refunds go back to the original card on file. Perfect. Click. Confirmation in my inbox 30 seconds later. Next florist. Hi, I need to cancel an order for Ward/Hunter wedding. Yes, under my name. Yes, I know it's short notice. No, I won't be rescheduling. Caterer, cancelled. Tuck's place. Sir, the party is next month. Then they have time to find a different brother to pay for it. Travel agency. But sir, that's the honeymoon. Ma'am, you and I both know that if the groom can't qualify for the card, he can't qualify for the vacation. 5 calls. 10 minutes. $12,000 reversing back toward me over the next few days. No drama. No screaming. Just admin. The kind of admin I've been doing for them for years, just this time, for me. At 9:03, Mom called my cell. I let it go. At 9:05, she called Nadia again. Nadia put it on speaker. Why are the cards not working? Mom snapped. Company policy change, I said from my desk. You don't make policy, Lucas. Apparently I make weddings, though. Silence. You're punishing your sister over a misunderstanding? No, I said. I'm just not sponsoring people who uninvite me. You said it was a gift. It was, I said. Then I found out I wasn't invited to the gift. You can't just take it back. I looked at the monitor, at the contracts with my name, and almost laughed. Mom, it literally has my name on it. Her voice dropped to the wound-up, self-righteous register. Evan is family now. He needs access to company funds if he's going to be a partner. Then he can use his money. I said. Or yours. You're being very cold. No, I said. I'm being very done. I hung up. 10 minutes later, Dad stormed in. He still walks like it's his company, big steps, chin out, like bluster is a business plan. What the hell is this with the cards? He barked. They were being misused, I said. Calm. Business voice. The one I use with difficult clients. You don't get to decide that. I actually do, I said, swiveling the monitor so he could see the vendor screen. Because I'm the one who set up the account structure. And because the person spending hasn't generated $1 for this company. Evan is helping us grow, Dad said with a straight face. With what? His Canva logo? Dad pointed at me. You're acting out because you got your feelings hurt. No, I said. I'm correcting financial exposure you created. That part is important. People like my parents, they don't see unpaid invoices as exposure. They see them as, someone will fix it. I was done being someone. He switched tactics. You embarrassed your mother. She embarrassed herself, I said. She texted her son, the one paying, to tell him he's out. That's on her. He clenched his jaw, the vein at his temple popping. You've always had to be right. You've always had to be bailed out. We stared at each other for a second. He wasn't used to me not caving. I wasn't used to not caving either, but turns out it feels steady. Like finally putting weight on a leg you've been babying. He finally said. We're giving Evan 15%. You already did, I said. He blinked. How do you know? Because Victor came in yesterday and said you reclassified my capital contributions and gave him papered equity against my money. Dad looked away, then back. It's all one family pot. No, I said. It was my pot. You poured it into someone else's cup. He opened his mouth to yell again, but I was done. Conversation's over. He left, muttering something about disrespect. I could tell he was going to call Mom, and Mom was going to call Tara, and Tara was going to post something passive-aggressive about protecting her peace, while sitting in a room full of things I bought. At 11:30, Evan himself swaggered in. He smelled like knockoff cologne and entitlement. You can't cut off the vendor payments, he said. No hi, no good morning. The wedding is in 4 weeks. Then pay for it, I said without looking up. You know I'm between commissions. I know, I said. That's why I paid in the first place. He leaned on my desk like he was about to pitch me crypto. This is really ugly, man. You're making Tara cry. And Tara uninvited me, I said. Actions, consequences. He scoffed. You're just mad I'm in the business now. I actually laughed at that. In the business? You've been here 3 weeks and you've cost us more in consulting than you've brought in revenue. He straightened. Your dad wants me here. Your dad, I said carefully, is about to have to explain your shell vendors to an auditor. That hit. His eyes flashed. You wouldn't. I don't have to, I said. The software already did. He sputtered. You can't fire me. So I did the most satisfying thing I've done in 10 years working for my family. You're terminated, I said. As an employee. You can't. Partner or no partner, you have no spend authority. You have no login. You have no card. You can invoice like every other subcontractor. Now get out. He stood there, trying to decide whether to bluff or throw a tantrum. Then he went with tantrum light and shouldered past Nadia's desk on the way out, knocking a stack of POs to the floor. Nadia looked at me. So, that happened. Yeah, I said. He's not coming back. By 2 p.m., my phone was a slot machine. Mom. Dad. Unknown numbers. Cousins. Even Tara. I ignored all of them. Instead, I kept doing what they hate the most. I kept making a record. Every cancelled wedding vendor, PDF saved. Every reversal, PDF saved. Every suspicious Evan invoice, screenshot saved. Every call log, exported. They like chaos. I like documents. Around 4, my screen lit up with a Facebook notification. I don't even use it much, but I still get pings. Tara posted. Some people can't stand to see you happy, even if they're your own blood. My own brother sabotaged my wedding over money. Pray for me. Oh, she went public. I didn't comment. Didn't subpost. Didn't send her a DM. But Cousins did. Aren't those receipts in Lucas's name? Didn't he pay your deposit? Wait, didn't you tell us he booked the honeymoon? Then someone, not me, dropped a photo of me at the venue signing paperwork for her. Her own thank you message right underneath. Couldn't have done it without you, Lou. That comment section turned fast. Mom called again. You fix this before you embarrass everyone. I didn't embarrass anyone, I said. I just stopped lying for you. You're punishing your sister on the internet. I looked at the refund folder. At the company portal. At the accounting reports. I felt oddly calm. I'm not punishing anyone, I said. I'm just letting people see who actually paid. She hissed, actually hissed, and hung up. That night, I went home, opened my laptop at the same kitchen table, and wrote one line at the top of a news sheet. Personal funds spent on family/business, unreimbursed $48,230. Effective today, no more. Then I closed the sheet. Because once you decide you're not the family's emergency credit line anymore, every single thing they've been balancing on you starts to wobble. By the end of that week, the wobble turned into a full-blown quake. It started with a vendor call at 9:17 a.m. Evergreen Supply, our main lumber provider. The manager's voice sounded hesitant. Hey Lucas, just wanted to double-check. We got a new billing contact from Gerald. Something called E.H. Consulting. That legit? My stomach dropped. No, I said flatly. Keep the original contact info. Forward me the email. He did. And there it was, my dad forwarding our active supplier contracts to Evan's Gmail clone of a fake domain, eConsulting.com, no CC to me or Nadia. No explanation. Just moving invoices like he was sliding cards around a poker table. I opened the company inbox, and sure enough, dozens of new threads had been rerouted that morning. Vendor emails, project quotes, even payroll inquiries. All bouncing off Evan's alias. It hit me like cold water. They were trying to build a mirror company. Same vendors, same clients, same contracts, just without me. I walked straight out to Nadia's desk. She looked pale before I even said a word. They called, she said quietly. Your mom, your dad, and Evan, they all asked me for the master invoice log. Said you told me to send it. Don't, I said. I didn't. Good. Keep copies of everything they request. Don't argue, don't refuse. Just document. Her voice dropped. Lucas, this is fraud, isn't it? Probably, I said. But that's their problem. We're just keeping records. Back in my office, I checked the shared drives. Half the folders were renamed EHC Jobs, EHC Payroll, EHC Core. It was like watching termites eat your own house in real time. Then, around noon, Dad stormed in. He didn't knock this time. What the hell is this nonsense about vendor blocks? They're not blocks, I said. They're fraud alerts. You're sabotaging your own family. No, I said. I'm saving what's left of it from your son-in-law. He slammed his hand on the desk hard enough to rattle the stapler. You don't accuse family of theft. Then stop making it so easy. He glared at me, the kind of glare that's half fury, half disbelief that I wasn't folding like usual. You're destroying this family. He spat. I didn't even blink. You destroyed it the minute you gave Evan access to my books. He left red-faced, muttering something about me being ungrateful. That's when I knew this wasn't reparable. That afternoon, one of our subcontractors called. Hey, Lucas, we didn't get paid for May. Supposed to go to a new address? What address? EH Consulting. Said it's a new billing process. I didn't even pretend to be surprised anymore. I thanked him, hung up, and opened the accounting software. Duplicate vendors. Rerouted payments. Same invoice numbers. I could see every line of it like an autopsy. So I did what I do best. I made a backup. Every document. Every transaction. Every email with Evan's fingerprints on it. I built an encrypted archive, labeled by month, vendor, and source. It took 3 hours, and by the time it finished, the office was dark again. When I left that night, the only light in the building was my monitor, the glow bouncing off my empty coffee mug. That's when I realized I wasn't trying to save the business anymore. I was collecting evidence from a crime scene. The next morning, Nadia looked like she hadn't slept. Your dad was screaming at Foreman, she said. He told them unpaid subs were your fault. Of course he did. What are we supposed to do? Nothing, I said. Let them talk. We'll have the receipts. That night, I went home, plugged in the flash drive, and opened my archive. Rows and rows of transactions. Duplicate vendor names. Mismatched account numbers. It was all there. They'd used my money, my credit, my trust, and now my silence, to build their little empire of denial. But I wasn't their safety net anymore. And when safety nets disappear, the fall hurts a lot more. By early July, everything at Ward Construction felt wrong. Phones went quiet. Projects stalled. Half the crew started whispering about missed paychecks, and every time I walked in, the air felt heavier, like everyone knew something was cracking but didn't dare say it out loud. That Tuesday, I got in early. I was planning to finalize a bid, but when I opened my office door, my dad and Evan were already sitting there, arms crossed, like two middle school bullies in button-downs. Dad didn't waste time. We've had complaints, he said. From who? I asked. Clients, he snapped. They're nervous. You've been cutting people off, questioning invoices, making it look like we're disorganized. I looked at Evan. We are disorganized. You rerouted vendor payments. Evan smirked. This attitude is the problem, man. You're toxic. You make everyone think something shady is going on. There is something shady going on, I said. And it's got your initials on the invoices. Dad slammed his palm on my desk. Enough! You don't accuse family of theft. Then stop stealing from family, I said quietly. The silence that followed was heavy. He took a step closer, lowering his voice like he thought it'd make him sound reasonable. You're out of control, Lucas. You're making us look bad. We need to take a step back, just until things cool down. I stared at him. So you're firing me? No, he said quickly. Just a leave of absence. For everyone's sake. I nodded slowly. Right. A break. Send me the paperwork. Evan leaned back, grinning like a kid who just got the front seat. We'll have Victor draw it up. Dad reached into his briefcase and slid a folder across my desk. Already did. Of course. The form was neat, rehearsed, probably printed yesterday. Voluntary leave. No severance. No liability. It wasn't even subtle. They'd planned this. I skimmed it, signed it, and handed it back. Dad looked relieved, like he thought this was over. Good, he said. We'll handle things from here. Yeah, I said, plugging in my flash drive. I'm sure you will. While they watched, I calmly copied the remaining company files to my drive, project folders, vendor lists, the audit logs I'd been keeping. Evan shifted in his chair. What do you think you're doing? It's my work, I said. I'm taking what's mine. The progress bar hit 100%. I ejected the drive, slipped it into my pocket, and stood up. We're done here, I said, walking past them. Neither followed. That afternoon, I was home sorting through backup emails when the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, Tara. She looked wrecked. Smudged mascara, shaking hands, the whole act. I opened the door halfway. You ruined everything, she said. You couldn't just let me have one thing. I didn't even blink. You mean the wedding I paid for? The business I built? She stepped closer. You couldn't handle not being in charge, so you burned it all down. No, I said, calm as stone. I stopped paying for your fantasy. She glared at me like I'd slapped her. You're supposed to be my brother. I was. Until you kicked me out on a group text. Her jaw trembled. Do you know how much people are talking about us now? Mom says you're losing it. Mom says a lot of things, I said. Then, behind me, my laptop pinged. New email. From the wedding venue. Per your request, we've reinstated the original reservation. Please confirm payment details. My blood ran cold. I pulled up the message headers. The sender's IP? My parents' home Wi-Fi. I turned the screen toward her. Tell Mom if she's going to impersonate me, at least change the subject line next time. Her face drained of color. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure you do. I stepped back from the door. You should go. She stood there a moment, eyes darting like she was trying to find the right performance, then spun around and stormed off. Tires squealed out of my driveway. That night, I poured myself a drink and opened the company insurance folder. I'd ignored it for years because Mom always said, "It's boring paperwork." Not that night. Halfway down, I found it, a key person life insurance policy listing me as the insured. But the new ownership transfer, filed 3 months ago, listed Denise Ward, my mother, as policy owner. And the beneficiary? Tara Hunter. I stared at it for a long time. Then laughed once, low and humorless. They'd literally insured me for her. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. You'll regret crossing us. I typed back one line. Already don't. Then I opened a fresh spreadsheet titled Clean Report, July. Every transaction tied to me. Every reimbursement. Every loan. Every wedding refund. No edits, no accusations, just facts. When I finished, I saved it twice. Once locally. Once on the encrypted drive. Because they wanted chaos. But I had something better. Receipts. By fall, the Ward family was on Facebook pretending nothing was wrong. Tara posted a photo in front of a brick wall wearing a white blazer and jeans, Evan in a wrinkled button-down beside her. Caption. We chose simple love over drama. Black heart. It looked less like a wedding and more like two people who missed their payment deadline and had to improvise. No dress, no venue, no flowers. Definitely no $12,000 worth of deposits I'd already clawed back. I didn't comment. Didn't like. Didn't send. Congrats. 2 days later, she texted me anyway. Can I borrow $5,000 to get ahead on bills? Evan's commission hasn't cleared yet. I actually laughed. Out loud. At my kitchen table. I wrote back. Sure. You'll get a loan agreement shortly. 5 minutes later I pulled up my templates, dropped her name in, 6% interest, 6 months, collateralized by a ring described as Platinum W/1, 3 CT center stone. I even added a clause that late payment triggered collection and small claims. No emotion. No sibling discount. Business. I signed it, PDF'd it, sent it. 2 hours later it came back digitally signed with her full legal name. Cool. She wanted to be an adult. We could play adult. Next morning, I met Nadia at a diner near the industrial park. She looked tired, that kind of tired that comes from watching your bosses lie while the numbers don't. I slid 2 folders across to her. One labeled Refunds confirmed. The other Company accounts, raw. You sure you want me handling this? She asked. Yes, I said. Submit everything clean. No fixing for your boss. Not for me. Not for them. Just numbers. She flipped through it, eyebrows lifting. There are a lot of mismatched payments in here, she said. I know. Don't fix them. This is going to raise questions. Good. She looked at me for a long moment. They're going to blame you. They already did, I said. This just gives them a reason they can't scream away. She nodded and took the folders like they were radioactive. What happened next didn't happen because I snitched. It happened because we stopped lying for them. 10 days later, she forwarded me an email from the accounting platform. Subject: Account irregularities detected. Body: discrepancies have been flagged to your connected external CPA. An audit-ready packet is available. Nadia added one line under it. It's done. I texted back. Thank you. That was it. No fireworks. No movie moment. Just software doing what software does when a bunch of clowns try to run fake invoices through a legitimate system. And then the letters started. They didn't come to me. They went to the Ward house. Thick envelopes with state seals. Requests for documentation. Please clarify vendor mismatch. Please provide W-9. Please provide proof of payment for subcontractor number 218. Please explain duplicate disbursement. Dad started calling it bureaucratic harassment. Mom called it an attack on small families. No. It was math. Math finally woke up. Suppliers started calling me privately. Hey, Lucas, you still there? We got a weird email telling us to send invoices to EH Consulting. Is that you? No. Keep sending to the usual. And hold off on new work with them. A foreman texted me a video of Dad at a job site, red in the face, yelling that someone in accounting was sabotaging him. Guys were standing around with their arms crossed. Half of them walked off after he left. It was unraveling. Fast. Then came the public humiliation. Someone filmed Tara's car getting repossessed from her salon parking lot and posted it with, "When simple love doesn't pay the notes." It blew up locally. She tried to spin it. Dealing with haters and financial stress, but staying positive, 2 hearts. Comments: Didn't your brother pay for your whole wedding? Didn't you kick him out? Why do you and Evan know like everyone in town? I didn't type a word. The internet did what it does. Mom went on Facebook with a 4-paragraph post about ungrateful children, and family loyalty, and the system targeting us because we're not a corporation. Screenshot. Saved. Dad followed with his own post about betrayal from within. Screenshot. Saved. I wasn't even mad. It was almost funny how predictable it was. They couldn't say, "We let a scam artist fiancé into the books, and he started paying himself from vendor money. They had to say, "Our son turned on us." Then, finally, the thing I'd been waiting for showed up at my door. A courier. Downtown letterhead. Civil complaint. The Wards, my own parents, and Evan were suing me for business sabotage and intentional interference with operations. I read it once at my kitchen table. It was 90% feelings, 10% nonsense. Stuff like, Lucas withheld support from his sister's wedding and retaliated financially. Nothing about fake vendors. Nothing about rerouted payments. Nothing about the key person policy on my head. I called their lawyer, Victor. "You really filed this?" I asked. He sighed, the long-suffering kind. "They insisted. I advised against it." "When's deposition?" 2 weeks. He paused. "Lucas, you might actually want to come to this one." So I did. Deposition day was the most anticlimactic family showdown in history. No courtroom. Just a beige conference room. My parents on one side, arms crossed. Evan looking like he hadn't slept in 3 days. A court reporter. Their lawyer. My lawyer. They went first. Talked about how I made the family look bad. How I blocked access. How I caused panic. Mom dabbed her eyes like we were in a TV drama. Then it was my turn. I said one sentence. I left the company in July. The accounting platform started flagging vendor discrepancies in June. The external CPA engagement started in September. I didn't trigger anything. My lawyer slid Exhibit A across the table, refunds confirmed, and Exhibit B, clean report, July, the one I made that night Mom texted. "You'll regret crossing us," he said, calm, almost bored. These documents show the system auto-flagged rerouted payments before Mr. Ward's departure. The audit was initiated by the system, not by my client. The room went very, very still. Dad's face went pale. Mom looked at Evan like, "What did you do?" Evan looked at the table like it was going to open and swallow him. Their lawyer closed his folder. No further questions. On the way out, Dad caught up to me in the hallway. "You destroyed this family's name," he said, voice shaking. I looked at him. "I didn't ruin anything," I said. "I balanced it." He didn't have an answer for that. A week later, their lawyer filed a notice of voluntary dismissal. Translation: they dropped it before it got worse. By February, Ward Construction was basically a ghost. Suppliers wouldn't extend credit. Subs wanted cash up front. Clients quietly cut ties. The Ward name, the thing they protected more than their kids, became a red flag. Me? I registered Ward Ledger Group, 1 desk, 1 laptop, no drama. Bookkeeping, cleanup, audit prep for small contractors who just want to build stuff and not get nuked by tax season. Nadia came on as a freelancer. We made it clean. We made it boring. We made it honest. One morning I walked into my tiny office, sunlight on the floor, coffee in hand, opened my dashboard and realized no one could text me, "You're out of the wedding," and yank my money, and keep my job, and still expect my silence. They called it betrayal. It wasn't. It was accounting. And the numbers finally told the truth. By spring, there wasn't much left of the Ward empire, just unpaid invoices, ghosted clients, and my parents pretending it was all a temporary setback. They'd built their reputation on favors and bluffing confidence. Now they couldn't even bluff a bank loan. I'd hear things secondhand. A supplier friend told me, "Your dad came in begging for a shipment on credit." We told him no. Another said, "Evan's trying to sell his truck. Says he's starting fresh somewhere out of state." Translation: the money ran out, and the excuses weren't buying time anymore. Then one night in late March, my phone buzzed with a call from an unknown number. Normally, I'd ignore it. But something, habit maybe, made me pick up. It was Tara. Her voice was small, the fake confidence gone. "Lucas," she said, "I just wanted to say you were right." That threw me. Tara? The audit came back, she whispered. Dad's being investigated for misappropriation. Evan's hiding out at his cousin's place. Mom, she's pretending she didn't know anything. I sat in silence. I'd pictured this moment 100 ways: anger, satisfaction, maybe a smirk, but all I felt was tired. I didn't want this for any of you, I said quietly. I just wanted to stop paying for it. She sniffed. I know. I'm sorry about the wedding, about everything. I could tell she meant it. Or maybe she finally had nothing left to lose. Then she asked the question I'd been waiting for. Can you help me? I didn't answer for a long time. The old version of me, the fixer, the safety net, wanted to. But the man sitting at his desk in a one-room office, surrounded by honest work and clean books, couldn't. I already did, I said. I stopped lying for you. She didn't respond. Just a soft exhale and the line went dead. Weeks passed. The letters kept coming from my parents: tax liens, debt notices, legal filings. They tried for months to paint me as the villain, but villains don't send audits. Villains don't build order from chaos. Villains don't leave receipts. By summer, Ward Construction was formally dissolved. Evan fled to another state. Mom was selling antiques online and calling it consulting. Dad started working part-time for a rival builder who'd once been his apprentice. Karma has a sense of humor like that. I still saw their names sometimes, old clients forwarding the articles, mutual acquaintances gossiping, but it was all background noise now. I had my own clients, small crews who paid on time, respected the process, and didn't try to run side hustles through the books. One Thursday, Nadia and I finished early and sat on the office balcony with coffee. She looked at me and said, "You ever think about reaching out? Just to see how they're doing?" I thought about it, really thought. Then shook my head. No. I already saw how they're doing. That's enough. She smiled. You know, most people in your position would have burned everything down. I smiled back. I didn't have to. They lit their own match. Later that night, I went home, opened my laptop, and scrolled through my original spreadsheet, clean report, July, still sitting in the same folder. Every number balanced. Every account matched. Every transaction accounted for. The document wasn't revenge. It was freedom on paper. Proof that walking away clean is its own kind of justice. I poured a drink, stepped onto my balcony, and watched the city lights flicker in the distance. No calls. No crises. No guilt. Just silence. Real, earned silence. They called it betrayal. I called it bookkeeping. And this time, the books finally closed.